Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Hilaal Live. We just crossed back from the Maghrib Salah from Makkah, and we now continue with Hilaal Live. Thanks for joining us on Channel 347. I'm Luqmaan Shadrach from the Cape Town studio. We often bring up or highlight events that happen in and around our vibrant community. And during the month of Ramadan, we tend to visit various masajids in and around Cape Town, the Western Cape. I mean, last year we went as far as Hermanus, and one of the mosques that we visited last year was a mosque in Steenberg, and we have a very close affiliation there because our technical team also grew up in the area and attended the mosque as well, so holds very special memories for them as well. And in studio, I thought let's invite Moulana Fudail Jones from Steenberg Mosque. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Lovely to see you.
It is a pleasure to be here.
It's been a year.
Yes, yes.
I haven't been back since. And inshallah, during Ramadan, we're going to visit your beautiful community again, inshallah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah.
And then we also have Mu'allima Shawaal Fortune, who is the principal of Ansarur Rahman Educational Center. Assalamu alaikum to you, my sister.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukr, and it's Moulana's wife as well, so he's on his best behavior today as well. Jazakallah so much for coming in. There's a special event happening at the Educational Center very soon, but before we get there, Moulana, the Steenberg community, the mosque itself, is situated in such a dynamic position because you service quite a wide area in that, in the neighboring communities. Tell our viewers about that.
So Alhamdulillah, our particular Masjid Rahmaniya Masjid, where I am Imam, it is a difficult, it's a beautiful, wonderful job, but subhanallah, lots of responsibility, Alhamdulillah. And so Rahmaniya Masjid is the first masjid in that area. So if you're looking at the entire retreat, Lavender Hill, now Sea Winds, Coniston Park, Sheridan, all of that areas, that was the first masjid in that area. So it has the Awal Masjid type of feeling to it.
Stunning.
And so Alhamdulillah, our work ranges throughout the areas, Alhamdulillah, and our madrasa is in Sea Wings, basically next to Steenberg, Alhamdulillah.
And you can't miss it because if you're on Prince George Drive, you see the beautiful mosque, you drive past it,
yes,
and you hear the adhan go off. If you're on the freeway as well, not too far to turn off to make your salah as well.
Yes.
The community obviously has, I would imagine you have such a large community that attends the various waqts.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Steenberg alone has about 500 families.
Sure.
Then you have Kafda next to it, you have Lavendale next to it. And again, because it's the Awal Masjid, people still have, even though there's a masjid in Lavender Hill and Kafdan doing sterling work, Alhamdulillah, them as well. But people still want to do the nikah there because, they grew up there, their parents got married there. And so they have this type of connection. And the entire area, Alhamdulillah. And we are proud to be, serving the community in all of those things.
And speaking about, things like nikah and things, people that have moved away from the area, do you find when they often come back to visit mom and dad or visit family in the area, they come through and make their salah?
Yes, definitely. And that's on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we have a large group of people that come from everywhere in the, even like you mentioned, people come from the flea market in Muizenberg, and then they come and make their maghrib there because they're heading home and so forth. And so, yes, Steenberg, the masjid has been the place where Mauluds were held, and still being held, Alhamdulillah. So many Maulud Jamaats would know of Steenberg Rahmaniya Masjid.
Stunning.
Alhamdulillah.
What a lovely history, and we should be proud of that because it's a legacy that we leave behind as well.
Yes.
And that we currently uphold at the same
time. If I may, there's one story I always remember that the elders would always tell us that when they opened the masjid, when they started the masjid, they got electricity from a neighbor, but the neighbor was non-Muslim.
Wow.
And for me, those things, tells us, we have non-Muslims in and out by our masjid, various things, because the masjid tries to be a holistic place.
Of course.
And so, yes, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Before we get into the major event that you're going to have soon as well, tell us a bit more about some of your annual events that you have. Things that, often enough, some of the masjids have markets and they have madrasas, they have annual fairs that they have. What happens at Steenberg Mosque?
So I want to turn to
Mu'allima
Shawaal Fortune. Perhaps you can highlight.
She's the PR.
She's the principal of the madrasa, and so I'm just the driver.
Mu'allima, some of the activities that happens at the masajid and also at the educational center?
Alhamdulillah, we have a primary school structure,
Okay.
Alhamdulillah, um, and two high school structures as well.
Steady.
So we definitely have activities. We try and keep our students in positive environment,
Alhamdulillah.
especially where they're coming from, this teenage pregnancy and everything, all
Sure.
the negative elements around the area.
Mhm.
We have events like Muharram programs. We have
Nice.
fun days. We have jumping castle and all these games, archery, all that stuff. Alhamdulillah. We also have every second year we have a concert for them. We call it
Nice.
the Children's Day, where they on stage and presenting for the parents. Alhamdulillah. And very much more activities for them. Even where we take them to the beach.
Nice.
We take them out, Alhamdulillah. We also have the sister group where we have all our high school students, teenagers, the ladies, the girls, Alhamdulillah. We have maybe making roses of fondant roses. I do baking as well.
Okay.
So Alhamdulillah, I show them stuff like that and just
That's why
connecting
Moulana
with them.
smiles so much, because
Yes,
all the
barakallah.
lovely stuff that he has to eat
That's
as
so
well.
true. That's so true.
It's so lovely to have a vibrant community, everyone getting involved, from your youth to your adults, your seniors. Any special programs for the youth and the adults that you have on a monthly, annual basis?
So we have a morning ladies madrasa.
Okay.
And then we have a Saturday for adults as well.
All right.
The Saturday Adults is a unique program because it's not only adults at present. So we started off with adults, and then the parents said, like, what must I do with my kid? And so then Moulana came along and said, look,
Stunning.
let's have your kid alongside you and
Nice.
have classes. So Moulana has about 3 classes for the youngsters, and then there's 2 classes for the adults. So we try to have at least one social event where it's just fun
Alhamdulillah.
and coming together and nice eating,
Gee.
but then at least one other event where we're giving back. So whether it is us making a pot of food or whether us making some parcels, because as poor as we are, as I'm saying to myself, I still have a bag of rice or a little bit of rice that I can give to someone else.
Of course.
And so collectively we kind of band together, whether it's a tin can or some rice or some milk or whatever, and then we make a parcel or 2. And again, unfortunately, our community is not financially on the higher end,
Right.
but that doesn't mean we cannot make 2 parcels.
Alhamdulillah.
And so the kids get involved and the parents get involved, and we make 2, 5 parcels, and
That's
you know,
beautiful.
and just to give back, to also be the upper hand,
It also becomes a safe haven
Yes.
for children. And I would imagine they come and do their homework there, or they come and play in the mosque. I know when we were there, kids were playing cricket,
Yes.
Yes,
in the street
indeed.
and in the mosque as well. So it kept them safe, like Mu'alima says, there can be so much negativity in the area, but let's focus on the positives that we can help these children as well. Do you find that they tend to get drawn towards the masjid?
Definitely. Alhamdulillah, we have Wi-Fi at our masjid.
Yeah.
So they come with their phones, they sit and connect with us. We have where they can make their copies for their homework.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. So yes, definitely, our students are connected. They come with their balls and stuff, and they
Right.
come and play. So even half an hour before class starts, they will be playing soccer outside or even cricket. We do have all that stuff in a box for them, so
Nice.
they'll just come and take it out of the box and start playing.
That
Alhamdulillah.
exuberance of youth is always so lovely to hear. The laughter, the playfulness, and I'm sure the older guys get involved as well
Yes.
in there.
Definitely.
Any senior citizen projects that you have, Moulana?
So Alhamdulillah, because we are we try to include, whenever we have a senior citizen program, we always try to include the parent. It's like a parent, because we think that connection between the adults and the youth is lost.
Yes.
So some of the things that we do is we like to do like a storytelling type of thing.
Oh, nice.
We did one program where we had the youngsters, the youth, doing some what they call it, mini and pedi.
Oh, lovely.
thing.
Okay, spoiled the pamper session.
So we had all the adults,
Must tell me when
mostly
that one is.
females.
I'll come for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, mostly females. Oh, man.
Sorry,
okay.
man.
I lost out.
So we had the ladies, sit
Alhamdulillah.
in the masjid, and then the youngsters brought the water and
Beautiful.
the salts and all of these type of
And
things.
some tea as well.
And
Oh,
tea
man,
and
that's special, eh?
yes.
Because it's also giving back and paying tribute to our mothers, our grandmothers, our
Yes.
sisters that have paved the way and done so much in our
Yes.
communities,
Alhamdulillah.
and currently still do as
Mashallah.
well. And I'm sure they play a huge role
Yes.
in this as well. After the break, we're going to chat about the workshop. The
Inshallah.
very exciting
Inshallah.
workshop that you are planning. So viewers, if you are in and around that area, or if you know the area well and you would like to attend this Ramadan workshop, we're going to give you some details after the break, and you're welcome to join us on the WhatsApp line if you'd like to know more, if you'd like to ask any questions, 079 085 2511. We'd love to hear from you. Do join us after the break. You are still watching Hilaal Live. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Hilaal Live. Thanks for watching us on Channel 347, all the way from our Cape Town studios. In studio, we're chatting about an event that's going to be happening at the Ansarur Rahman Educational Center in the Steenberg area. To chat to us more is Moulana Fudail Jones and Mu'alima Shawaal Fortune. Jazakallah so much for coming into studio and letting us know about this wonderful event. Mu'alima, for those that would like to know more, give us some background. How did this event come together? Is it the first one? It's the Ramadan workshop that you're having. Tell us more.
Alhamdulillah, this is one of the biggest ones that we're having. We have had 2 or 3 before this, but very small. But this is because it's our 10th year anniversary, alhamdulillah, we want to have it bigger and also giving back to the community, alhamdulillah. Yes, so Ramadan workshop, inshallah.
So the 2 years, let's look at the last 2 years. Okay, when you implemented the first one, what are the activities? Tell us the program and how did it evolve into the second and now the third one, inshallah.
Can I?
Yes, go for it. Go for it.
So I remember sitting with a number of, let's say, professionals in the various fields. So let's say non-Moulanas or Shuyukh or A'imma, and I asked them the question, what do you benefit from Ramadan? From your profession or from your life and so forth. And so each one kind of had their own thing. And for example, the ones said that they learn grit, they learn the fact that you must push through things and so forth. And someone said they learn to, that they must be grateful. So these are people that's working class individuals.
Right.
So what I asked them to do is come and present those things, I sat with them, some of them weren't able to do presentations. So I sat with them and I asked them, look, okay, let's do this. What do you want to speak about? What is the topics and so forth? Let's lay it out. And then we invited the youth. And so these adults, 30-year-olds that was now working, they had the opportunity to speak to the youth about, what Ramadan is for them. And the nice thing was that the kids could see, oh, this is a guy that is not much older than us, or a lady that's not much older than us, but they have experienced these things that we went through and so forth. Because at the teen level, I think it's the scariest part for ibadah, and especially with Ramadan, the concept of achter die bak eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, kids are evolving, they're growing,
yes.
but they also need to be educated
Yes.
around this balance of Ramadan as well.
Yeah, so that was like the main, like, how do we get them to see the reality of fasting and the true nature of fasting? Because again, when you're a youngster, you're fasting because you're getting the reward.
Yeah.
But when you get a teenager, then your mother's not watching you and so forth. So something else needs to happen. Some other type of spirituality needs to happen. And so we had 2 years this type of program, and now we felt that, look, make it big, because the influx and the youth engagement was very nice, alhamdulillah, for the two programs. And
so this year, how many people are you catering for, plus minus? That would give us an idea of how it's grown in magnitude.
500.
MashaAllah. Brilliant. Inshallah.
That is fingers crossed, and making special dua.
That's amazing.
Yes.
But getting the parents and the youth together.
Okay.
So we call it a family Ramadan workshop.
Nice. So take us through, is it over a weekend? Is it over one day?
It's only one day.
One day.
Because again, time is difficult
And
for
which day is
people.
that going to be?
It's going to be Sunday next week. This week Sunday.
This coming
Third.
Sunday,
This coming
inshallah.
Sunday,
Okay. What time to what time?
It's the 3rd of March,
Okay.
the Sunday, inshallah. It's from 9:30. So
Okay.
they're coming 9:30 for 10 o'clock
Okay.
until 12:30, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So because we know it's early in the morning, we're also having a breakfast for them, giving them a small breakfast, alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Okay, so there we look at the poster as well that's been created. It's 200 Rand per seat for people that would like to attend. That includes breakfast. And they can contact Mu'allima Shawaal as well. So we're looking at 13 years to adults. That's more or less the age group that you're catering for. What's the program going to be like? I mean, what are the topics that will be discussed?
So the main thing, I remember once we came back from holiday and I was in the masjid and the madrasas was going to start, and I was making my 2 rakat sunnah, and I was starting with salah, and the kids was just running in the mosque, and for a moment I got agitated because I was making salah, and then immediately I realized, but this is so special for these kids, man. As I'm wanting to connect with Allah, this kids is connecting to Allah by running and playing and enjoying themselves, and immediately I realized that the spirituality, what is spirituality is your connection with Allah, right? But my connection and how I connect with Allah is different from someone else.
Of course.
Some people like to sit in the corner and remember Allah. Some people like to walk and remember Allah. Some people like to make salah and remember. Kids generally like to play. And while they're playing, they're remembering Allah. So for teens, the same thing kind of applies. They need to be active. They cannot sit by a desk and just be writing. It cannot just be a theoretical thing. So the idea is going to be very interactive. It's going to be, you must, when you come, inshallah, and everyone that is going to come, be prepared that I'm going to call you up.
Nice. Be interactive.
Because, again, we're not going to force anyone because people, fear the stage and those type of things. But it's going to be that interactive way. We're going to do activities. We're going to do things together. We're going to discuss. And the one thing I believe important is the connection between the adults and the teens.
Nice.
Tell your story, Come and tell your story. You learn something, you benefit something, tell it. And sometimes your own child don't know that story.
Of course.
Because life is such that we kind of don't get to tell our children, look what happened to me when I was a youngster. And so these type of activities will be taking place. The various fiqh of zakat, and because zakat al-fitr, the fiqh of fasting, and then the dimensions of fasting as well.
Okay, we're having it at the educational center.
Retreat Civic.
Retreat so it will be in the area, inshallah.
Okay, not far, just up the road. Okay, great. 200 Rand a seat gets you in the door, and inshallah, you spend the day just celebrating.
The morning,
as well. Coming up to Ramadan now as well, we're also spiritually preparing ourselves mentally, physically, and I think it's a lovely workshop to encourage that as well, because sometimes we need that push. Speaking for myself, we need that encouragement in order to get over those first couple of steps. And once we get through those first days, then the first week is over, then we smooth sailing. And maybe while I have Moulana in studio as well, what advice do you have for those that are maybe struggling a little bit with preparing for Ramadan, with trying to get themselves ready and prepared? Normally it's the food story, we have that sorted, and everything else, but the spiritual part, Moulana.
So the first thing I want to say is come to the workshop.
There we go. That's a good one.
But essentially, there's two components that you need to look after. It's abstinence from the bad and starting to do good. So shaitan, the hadith explains that Rasulullah says that shayateen is tied up. So that means the influence over us is no longer there in the month of Ramadan. So what shaitan does is he wants to increase his influence over us in these days, so that when he's no longer there, it's almost like a fan that is still running. So even though you switch off the light, the fan still runs because of the momentum.
Right.
So the faster the fan runs before you switch it off, the longer it will take to stop. So if you start decreasing the speed now already, if you start smoking less, if you start swearing less, all the things that unfortunately we become prone to doing, unfortunately, in the disobedience of Allah Ta'ala. All of us are sinners, but the best of sinners are those who make tawbah. So try to do less of those things, and then increase of the good things. Increase in your dhikrullah, increase in your sadaqah, increase in your reading of Quran, whether it's one ayah, one dhikr. The one thing I like is increase your spending in the mosque.
Mm.
Because, Tarawih becomes very tiresome because we're not accustomed to maybe spending, especially at night, more time.
Of course.
So it's a simple thing. You go for Isha Salah and then you spend 15 minutes extra. So you become accustomed to having that particular duration. And when Ramadan comes, you perhaps, it's easier.
Of course.
May Allah Ta'ala accept that.
Ameen. And I think last but not least, while I have Moulana in studio as well, your Ramadan message to our viewers.
Enjoy it. Make this Ramadan better than last Ramadan. Again, join up a workshop. The aim is to make this Ramadan better than last Ramadan. But whether it's our workshop or any other class that you're attending for preparation of Ramadan, look at your previous Ramadan, ask what was missing, and then try to implement those things. Allah Ta'ala grant us acceptance, inshallah. Enjoy it.
Ameen.
It is a beautiful thing.
Moulana Fudail, thanks so much for coming into studio. It's absolute pleasure seeing you again. Mu'alima, all the very best with the workshop. I'm sure you're going to be very busy this weekend, inshallah, and may all your future projects grow from strength to strength, inshallah.
Shukran so much for having us.
My absolute pleasure. So there we go. Sunday, if you haven't planned anything, there's a workshop happening at the Retreat Civic Center. Do join Mu'alima and Moulana for the workshop, and you can contact them. The details are, we had them on the screen earlier, and we can definitely put them up just now again, just so that you can have that number, and you can contact them if you would like to. There we go. Mu'alima Shawaal, 066-264-0811. It's at the Retreat Civic Center, inshallah. Have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum. That's all that we have from the Hilaal Live team in Cape Town. We cross over to Johannesburg now from Sohail Barnes on technical duty and myself, Luqmaan Shadrach. Have a wonderful evening. Assalamu alaikum.